What if I told you? There was a time when millions of fans were screaming for BTS, but ignored Jungkook? What if I told you? There was a phase when people said Jungkook didn't look man enough, that he looked too pretty, that he must be fake, that he was probably gay, that they didn't just question his looks, they questioned his entire identity. And what if I told you? He heard everything and never said a single word. But the truth was quietly killing him inside. What really happened behind those perfect smiles? Why did he suddenly stop speaking much in interviews? Why did he avoid eye contact at fan meetings? And what exactly did he mean when he once whispered, "Thank you for loving me the way I am"? While holding back tears, you think you know him. But today, you'll see a side of Jungkook that few people have ever seen. This is not gossip. This is not fan theory. This is real. And every truth will be revealed in this video. So stay till the very end. And tell me in the comments, what do you love the most about Jungkook? He was just 15, a young boy from Busan who didn't know the industry, didn't know fame, didn't know how cruel people could be. All he knew was music and a dream. But the moment he stepped into the world of idols, people didn't just see talent. They saw a product. And products are judged, rated, picked apart. It didn't take long before fans, haters, and even so-called experts began picking at him. At first, they said he was too quiet, then too soft, then too perfect, then too fake. He would post a selfie, and someone would comment, "He's clearly had his nose done." Another would reply, "Look at the jawline, that's not natural." The hate spread like wildfire. YouTube thumbnails screaming, "Jungkook plastic surgery proof." Instagram comments calling him artificial. Even Twitter threads analyzing every change in his appearance, as if he was no longer a person. Just a lab experiment. But he kept quiet. He never addressed it. Because in his mind, if he ignored it, maybe it would go away. But it didn't. Instead, it got worse. People said he looked too feminine. Some accused him of being gay just because of the way he smiled, or the softness in his voice. And even though sexuality is no one's business, people made it theirs. Jungkook didn't fight back. He didn't post angry tweets. He didn't unfollow anyone. He just kept performing. But, slowly, something changed. He started appearing less on live streams. He started posting fewer selfies. His V-Live sessions went from casual and playful to rehearsed and quiet. Because when you're constantly told you're not enough or too much, you start believing it. The camera caught him once backstage, head down, headphones on, isolated from the rest. Not because he didn't love them, but because he didn't love himself. Not in those moments. He once said in an interview, "There were times when I didn't like what I saw in the mirror." That hit different. Because this wasn't about makeup, filters, or styling. This was about identity. And the loss of it. Even his youngs noticed. There were moments where Namjoon would reach out and quietly nudge him back into group convos. Moments where Taehyung would tease him just to get a smile. Moments where Jimin would glance at him, not with playfulness, but with concern. They saw it. The weight, the silence, the pain. But Jungkook never complained. Not once. Instead, he threw himself into perfection. If people called his face fake, he would perfect his vocals. If they mocked his softness, he would master every dance move. If they ignored him, he'd make sure his presence became impossible to miss. But he never lost that one thing that made him Jungkook. His gratitude. He would bow longer than anyone else on stage. He would thank the fans 10 times in a row. He would cry, not for himself, but because others showed him love when he felt unlovable. But behind the cameras, the scars remained. He once drew a figure of himself with cracks all over the face. Fans thought it was abstract. It wasn't. It was real. a quiet cry for help, through art. But then, something shifted. A moment came when he decided he wouldn't hide anymore. He went live, barefaced, unfiltered, and said one sentence that broke every heart watching. "I don't want to pretend to be anything. I just want to be me. No makeup, no background music, no lights, just Jungkook, the boy, the man, the human." The moment went viral, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real, and fans responded. With love. With apologies. With tears. And for once, he smiled a different kind of smile. Not the idol smile, not the performer smile, but a human smile. The kind that says, "Thank you for seeing me." And that changed everything. From that day, Jungkook became something more than an idol. He became a symbol of strength and softness, of power and silence, of beauty and honesty. People no longer just saw a pretty face. They saw the pain, the fight, the growth. And suddenly, the same internet that once mocked him began to protect him. Any insult was drowned out by thousands of fans defending his dignity. Any hate was buried under millions of messages of love. But the journey, it left marks. You can still see it in how he hesitates before speaking, in how he double-checks himself before laughing too loud, in how he sometimes looks away when someone compliments him. Because healing is not instant. It's a process, and he's walking it every day with his head a little higher and his heart a little lighter. But let's not forget, it didn't have to be this way. It shouldn't have been this way. No one deserves to be judged for their face, their softness, their voice, or their silence. Jungkook didn't need to prove his masculinity. He didn't need to explain his looks. He didn't owe anyone an apology for being himself. And yet, he gave the world nothing but grace. So today, let this video be a reminder. Behind every idol is a human. Behind every perfect stage is an imperfect soul. And behind Jungkook's silence was a strength louder than any scream. Now, let me ask you, what moment do you think hurt him the most? The plastic surgery rumors, the gay accusations, being ignored by fans, or being forced to smile while breaking inside? You'll find all the answers right here in this video. So don't skip a second and tell me in the comments. What do you love the most about Jungkook?